Be ready with me while I tell you guys how I'm gonna be grounded for a whole year. Yes, a whole year, like starting today. So yesterday I was gonna be hanging out with like friends and going to a party, and I didn't tell my mom, which is like where I messed up. So I left my house at like 6, but before I left my house, my mom was like super on edge. Like she kept on coming in my room, literally no joke, every 10 minutes while I was doing my makeup to go out, and she kept on being like, why are you doing your makeup? Why are you getting ready? Which is weird because like I low-key do my makeup all the time and don't go anywhere. So after she kept on like being weird, I was debating even going. I was like, I don't know if I want to go anymore. I texted my friends and they were saying, just come, it's gonna be fine. Like, she's just paranoid right now. Okay, so my friends got here and then I snuck out using my window. I make it into my friend's car and then I start low-key like panicking. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna be in so much trouble if my mom catches me. It's not. Then my friends and I go out. We're out for like 1 max 2 hours. When I then start hearing, like feeling the vibration of my phone going off, like someone's calling me. Y'all, no joke, my stomach literally fell to my butt. I already knew who it was. I grab my phone, I look at it, and just as I expected, it was my mom calling. I obviously couldn't answer it because I was at a party, there was music, my mom would just start going crazy. My friends, we had to go, so we left super quick. We got in their car, and while we got in their car, that's when I ended up calling my mom. As soon as I answered the phone, my mom just automatically started yelling like, I got it. She's like, what are you doing out this late? Where are you? I just came in your room, you're not in here. Like, she was going crazy. I'm on the phone like literally trying to calm my mom down. My friends are looking at me horrified because, you know, like if you have your phone loud enough on your like on the ear, like they could hear my mom yelling at me. So my mom was like, you got 5 minutes to get home. If you're not here in 5 minutes, you're like in deep trouble. Mind you, I was 30 minutes away from my house, and obviously I'm not gonna make my friends speed to my house. Like, I don't want to get in a car accident. So literally as soon as I got to the house, like as soon as I pulled up, I see my mom running outside. She opens the car door and snatches me and literally drags me back into the house. Like, I'm not joking, she literally drags me into the house. Like, my butt was getting scraped on the floor. Like, I'm not lying. And then once I got inside, I got chewed out even more than the phone and getting dragged into the house. My mom said, give me your phone. So you guys probably wondering how I'm recording. My mom's at work, so I found the phone at the house. So she took away my phone and she said that I'm grounded for the next year. She's considering sending me to boarding school because I've been misbehaving so much. Anyways, it's still on a makeup look, and yeah, that is how I'm gonna be grounded for a year. So pray for me.
Think your parents are super strict and super crazy? One time, my mom was a personal trainer. She got to hear all of the gossip all over town of all the moms that would come into her. She heard about this one boy in particular who was bad news that my sister was friends with, and she was very convinced, no matter what my older sister said, that she was like obsessed with this boy and was going to date this boy. So in order to prove to my older sister that this boy was like bad news, she created a fake persona of a girl that went to his high school, got his phone number from my sister's phone, proceeded to message him as this fake girl, and tried to make plans for them to go on a date to the beach and hook up. Mom used to get really frustrated with me because I have a really high metabolism, so I'm underweight. I've always been underweight, literally my entire life. When you're a young girl, your age corresponds to like the number on the tags that you wear. When I was 8, I was probably wearing like a 6 or a 5 or something like that. She decided to throw out all of the clothes that were actually like my actual size that fit me because she was mad at me for not gaining weight, and forced me to only wear clothes that corresponded with my age that literally did not fit me. That'll show me. To this day, I still really don't know why, but every single time I would take a shower and I would try and lock the door, my mom would unlock it from the outside and open it. I don't know why she did that. She did this every single day without fail. So I started pulling out a drawer that would block the door so that like even if she got it unlocked from the outside, she still couldn't just open it. And then she started sticking her hand in between like the tiny little crack, and she would slowly inch the drawer closed until she could open it. Obviously that pissed her off, so she just took my bathroom door off entirely, and you could see straight from the kitchen and the living room into my bathroom, and I only had a sliding glass door for my shower curtain, so I got to shower in front of everybody. That was really fun. One time my mom decided that all of my black clothes were the reason that I was depressed, so she threw out every single piece of black clothing, anything I owned that was black, threw all of it away, and would pick out my clothing for me every day while I was in high school. Gee, I wonder why I'm depressed. My mom had cameras that were inside and outside of the house. We would be watched 24/7, like no matter where we were except for our bedroom. She would do this thing where she had this like tiny little webcam owl thing, and she would like randomly place it in different spots around my room, and I never knew if it was on or off or if she's doing that to just like fuck with me. This one wasn't even me, but it traumatized me so badly. One time my little sister like went into my room and stole a piece of my jewelry and ate it, like literally ate it in front of me, swallowed it. And because I was mad, I went to my mom and told on her. Now we were little, okay, cut me a little bit of slack. I thought my mom was gonna yell at her. I should have known better. She went, grabbed my sister, who was holding her like prized stuffed animal she had since she was literally born, and my mom took a pair of scissors and cut it into pieces in front of both of us. To say that, like, I literally still cry about this sometimes. If I left anything, and I mean literally anything, on the floor, my mom was throwing it away. That it could be my most prized possession. Nope, it was going in the garbage. Yeah, and you want a stuffed animal? Nope, mom doesn't like stuffed animals. No stuffed animals in the house. I'm throwing it away. My mom would intentionally make foods that she knew that like none of us liked every single night, especially me. Instead of just like allowing me to make my own plate, she would make it for me, and then the second I would sit down at the table, she would put on a timer, and if I didn't eat all the food within the amount of the timer, I had to do my chores and go to bed immediately, and then wake up the next morning and eat that food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner until I finished it, and I was not allowed to have any other food under any other circumstances. I'm talking like I would be so hungry, and I had a job at this point. I was so hungry that I would have to do transactions in cash, buying myself food at like other places or having other people buy me food because my mom would be tracking me on my phone. She had access, obviously, to my bank account. My mom would randomly snatch my phone at any given moment and like shout "phone check" at me, and then proceed to find literally any possible thing to get mad at me about on my phone. But the one thing that she really got me, she drove all my friends away, because when she would go in my phone, she would pick out all the information, all the secrets that my friends were telling me over text message, and go and tell their parents on them. That is how my best friend's parents found out she lost her virginity. Do you think she came back to my house? My mom actually got mad that that she had driven all my friends away, so one night she invited my friends over to our house. Sleepover, mind you. It was two girls that had been bullying me, like actually really badly. They were bullying me. Did the looks on their faces when they showed up to my house, knowing that I had no idea they were coming? Ooh, they were so shit-eating grin. I literally still remember that, and they proceeded to sexually harass me for the entire night. That was actually so awful. One time when my older sister and we shared a room. We went off to school, and my older sister had made a mess and like left, it wasn't even a mess. She left like a bunch of clothes on the floor. My mom thought it was me, but like she wouldn't allow us to have social media. I found out through one of my friends that my mom had posted a video on Facebook of her literally like tearing apart my entire room, throwing everything in my room into one massive pile in the middle of it, and saying, like, taunting me in the video and being like, "Oh, well, Alyssa wants to leave her room a mess." Literally was not even my clothes. Found a lot of things out through Facebook, actually. Anytime my mom was like proud of me, it was going on Facebook. I did not have a Facebook, okay? That she didn't say anything to my face about being proud, but it was going on Facebook. Facebook, in fact, is how I found out that my mom was selling my cat, like giving away my pet cat, while I was at school one day. One time she got mad at me. I do not remember why. I'm sure it was something so dumb, and she went into my room, and I had like signed band posters all over my walls, and she went with a Sharpie and scribbled all over every single one of them and ruined them. One time she decided that we were using too much toilet paper for her liking, so she stole all the toilet paper out of my bathroom. Now, mind you, we were well off, okay? We were well off. We could fucking afford toilet paper. She stole all of it, and then she came to us and said, "If you want to go to the bathroom, you're going to have to come to me, and I will allot you an amount, like a square amount of toilet paper based on what you're doing in the bathroom." I used to get let out of class late sometimes, which was literally like there was nothing that I could do about it. I would just be out of class late, and she would be waiting in line for me a little bit longer, like the car line. She would get so mad at me that sometimes she would just leave me at the school, knowing that like I had no idea how to get home, and I didn't have like a phone with a GPS in order to look up the directions. I would just like walk aimlessly for miles until she had enough like sympathy for me to come track me down. One time I got a C on a report card, and she decided that my phone was so distracting to me that I needed to have it taken away for 2 years, and she forced me, not like gave me, listen, this is a first world problem, I understand. She gave me a flip phone, and she forced me to use it in front of my classmates because she said if I didn't, she would never give me my phone back. Literally at my graduation party, right before I was about to move out of my parents' house, my mom decided to take my phone one last time for a phone check, and she saw that I had been talking to somebody, and they asked me if my parents had ever spanked me, and my response was, no, they never spanked me, but they psychologically tortured me, and somehow that's worse. She got so mad at me that she threatened to basically have me leave without my phone that I literally paid for, and I got guilted and told that I was the reason that my mom stays up and cries every night, so that was awesome. One time my friend decided to take me to a trip to this beach on the other side of Florida for my birthday. We obviously left our phone up on, the shore, and we were looking for shells and stuff in the water, and I guess I didn't get to my mom fast enough when she was texting me that instead of just, I don't know, waiting for me to come back up to my phone, she shut my entire phone service off in a place that neither me or my friend knew where we were. My friend's phone died, and we couldn't find a place that sold a charger, so we were just fucking lost for hours. Another time I got bad grades on a report card, and my mom decided that I was going to weed our entire backyard. After like 30 minutes, I got stung by something that burned like really, really bad, so I went inside and told my mom like the whole thing was infested with these poisonous caterpillars, and I asked her if she had any sort of gloves or anything, or if I could just, I don't know, stop, and she told me no. So I got the shit stung out of me by who knows how many fucking poisonous caterpillars. I cannot even begin to tell you the amount of sentences over and over that I had to write, or essays, thousands and thousands of word essays that I had to write. But I was never ever allowed to use anything but proper grammar and punctuation. So like if I had to write sentences, it had to be proper punctuation and grammar and spelling and everything, or I would have to redo them. Same with entire essays, I would have to redo them if I got anything wrong. If I was texting someone, I would have my phone taken away if I used like an acronym like LOL or OMG. Oh my god, I forget this one every time I make a video like this. Dude, so when I was younger, and now listen, I know this is gross, just TMI, but my little sister and I have like really bad ADHD, so we would forget things. One of the things that we would frequently forget was to flush the toilet. I know, gross, I understand. Instead of my mom seeing that and being like, hey, you should remember to flush the toilet, or putting up a sign or something to help us remember, she used to make us fully submerge our hands into the piss or shit water. There was one time that my mom actually forgot to flush the toilet, but she accused my little sister, and I believe my little sister. She made her grab the shit in the toilet and squeeze it in her fingers. I literally cannot even begin to tell you the amount of things that I got grounded from. Like, basically, I was grounded 24/7. I got grounded from my junior prom. My boyfriend actually had just bought the tickets, and they were $90, and this kid, like, had a horrible home life, okay? He was working a job. He didn't have a car to even get him to that job. He worked so hard for that ticket, and, like, I think I got a bad grade, and he just had to waste the ticket and not go to junior prom with me because I was grounded. Anyway, I'm super well adjusted, if you can't tell. Everyone accuses me of having daddy issues. Come on now.
My mother didn't let me watch Hannah Montana until I was 16 because at the tender age of 10, I started my period. Did I just tell you I'm brown without telling you I'm brown? My mom didn't start her period till she was like 16. She comes from a village in India. She was super protected. She didn't even know what like homosexuality was until she was married and she moved to Japan and she saw it for the first time. That's how protected they were in the village. When she got married, she didn't know what marriage is. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Okay, my mom was very naive. My mom grew up skinny. She never had any acne. She never thyroid issues. She had no problems growing up, okay? She was beautiful. Me? I went on the dad's side of the family. PCOS, weight gain, acne, the heat. So it was the 5th grade, okay? And we had those, consent sheets, because in the 5th grade here in the United States, they teach you about what a period is and how to wear a pad. To my mom with the consent sheet, she didn't sign the consent sheet. I remember my mother writing an email to the teacher saying that she will talk to me about it when she's ready to talk to me about it. She thought they're gonna teach us like sex ed and all that. And the teacher replied like, we're literally just teaching her how to wear a pad. Dad and mom had a conversation because my dad is very opposite of my mother, and the teacher doesn't tell her, someone's gonna tell her. Anyways, 2 days before there was gonna be a presentation at school, my mom was doing my laundry and she noticed the deed, the stuff. She came into my room. She gave me the most intense stare and she hugged me and she started bawling her eyes out like I had just gotten pregnant. That presentation I had to skip because the next day she took me to the doctor. Before we went to the doctor's office, she asked me all these questions. She's like, do you watch anything behind my back? Or do you talk to any dude behind my back? Mind you, I was 10 years old, but she thought, watching like adult things make me start my period earlier because it magically just pushed me into womanhood. I don't know. I watched Disney Channel. First thing before I even went into the doctor, she's like, no Hannah Montana. I didn't get to watch Hannah Montana until I was like 15. And Zack and Cody and Resistant Waverly Place. I was just not allowed to watch Disney Channel. I watched Tom and Jerry. Anyways, we go into the doctor, okay? The doctor lays me down, checks there, touches, you get it? Mom was bawling her eyes out to the doctor and she goes, why? Why my daughter? Why so early? Her childhood. And the doctor was just like, you know, it's genetics. And the doctor literally said that the food here in the US is injected with hormones, okay? The milks and the foods, and she suggested that sometimes it can trigger an early period. Anyways, at first she was mad, and then she was disappointed, and then she just felt really bad for me that I had to get my period when I was 10 years old. My menstrual cycles, they were horrible. My mother, you'd think she would ever let me get on birth control? So I suffer till this day.
I'm about to block my mom just so I can make this video. So story time, and y'all tell me if I'm wrong, please, because she bugging. So I'm out on the road today, minding my business, and my mom called me and asked me to stop at the store on my way home to get some foil pans. So I asked her what kind of foil pans she wants. She all like, get a long one. Matter of fact, no, don't get one too long. Matter of fact, call me when you get there. I say, okay. I get to the dollar store, I call her, she does not answer the phone. Every time I can't get my mom, I call my sister and I be like, mommy not answering the phone, give her your phone. That's what we do. I always do it. I've been doing it my whole life. What the hell? So I don't get her. I call my sister. I'm like, mommy not answering the phone, give her the phone. She knocks on my mom's door. My mom does not answer the door. She's knocking. She's not answering. So usually when she do not answer the door, it's probably because she is sleeping. So my sister just opens the door because she's knocking and she's not hearing nothing. So she's like, okay, she's asleep. She opens the door and she sees something she don't got no business seeing. So then I hear my mom yelling at my sister like, get the fuck out of my room. Oh my God. So I'm like, oh shit. So by that time I already know like, okay, ooh, she done caught her in the act or something. I don't know. So I'm laughing because we all been through it. Like we all, like, let's be real, we all done been through it. So I'm laughing like, damn, it happened to the best of us. Like, I know it might be a little traumatizing, but it's life. It happened. We all catch our parents, right? So then I'm minding my business. I'm like, okay, go back my day. My mom called me. She called me yelling in my phone, talking about, why you couldn't just... why you couldn't just pick up a foil pan? Are you slow? If I didn't pick up a phone, common sense tells you to pick up a foil pan and just bring it home. I'm like, don't come over here yelling at me. Like, don't be mad at me. Like, it's the same routine. I called you, I didn't get you. I told my sister to give you the phone. This is what we always do. You should have locked the door or said hold on or something. Like, don't try to call me and make it my fault. Try to make this about foil pans. Like, what's wrong with you? She's like, no, you always doing this. You act like you're slow. Like, you could have just picked up a foil pan. Common sense tells you, if I ain't pick up the phone, just bring something home. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, whatever. So then she got an attitude with me. And I'm like, nah, this is not my fault. She's like, it is your fault. Because you called her to come over here. She wasn't going to come over here if you ain't call her. And I'm just like...
Growing up with like a crazy parent really shapes who you are. Just to give you guys kind of like a scale of, like a gauge of how crazy my dad used to be. He calmed down now. But y'all, one day I was in class. I got checked out of class during first period to get my ass whooped in a McDonald's bathroom. And I came back to class like this. Like, we had uniform shirts and my collar was like this. My teacher was like this, like, white woman with a bob. She was real pretty. And she was like, welcome back.
Out-of-pocket things I used to have to do to get around my strict parents. My dad barely ever let me go out, so one day I decided to pull a reverse Uno on him and I snuck his phone. And I downloaded Life 360 on it so that I could see when he goes to work or comes home so I could use that time to either sneak out or sneak people in. Luckily, he's an old Asian dad who isn't tech savvy at all, so he had no idea what was going on. Oh, how the turns have tabled. We're from Minnesota, but my sister used to date a guy from Cali, and my dad did not approve of it at all. But we wanted to take a trip there to see him, so I had to convince my dad that I had a school field trip to Washington, D.C., and that my sister was going to be my chaperone. I made a fake waiver for him to sign. I photoshopped pics of us at the White House. I even photoshopped plane tickets and had them printed at FedEx, so they have that, like, paper glossy finish. And it worked. We were in Cali. He did end up finding out later on though because someone over there knew him and snitched on us. Every time I wanted to stay out late with my friends, late as in literally just past 9 p.m., I would have to jump out the window. So imagine hanging out with your friends, then having to go home at 9 p.m., go inside, say hi to your dad so he knows you're home, go in your room, pretend you're sleeping, then jumping out your window and walking to your friend's place just to meet up with them again and be able to hang out late. That was so dumb and dangerous. I was so young and I had to do that all the time. Like honestly, strict parents don't achieve anything but raising sneaky kids. More out-of-pocket things I used to have to do to get around my strict dad. My dad used to never let me go out without my older sister, but sometimes I would go out alone with my friends and my dad would call me and be like, let me talk to Lena, aka my older sister, to see if we're really together. So I'd literally be on the phone like, oh yeah, like let me get her real quick. Put the phone down for a bit, pick it back up with Lena's voice this time, and I'm like, hello, yeah? And he'd be like, oh okay, just check in. He literally fell for it every single time. And if that didn't work, I would actually call my sister and just merge the phone calls to make it seem like we're together. I used to sneak my boyfriend in every night because my dad didn't let me have a boyfriend. He would always sneak through my sister's window, which was downstairs, but the problem was my room was upstairs. So we would have to sneak upstairs and go past the living room to get to my room, and my dad was always in the living room. But luckily, my mom was the GOAT and she would always distract him so that we could sneak in. After high school, I decided on a community college that was pretty close to my house, but I really didn't want to live at my parents' anymore because I wanted more freedom, so I told my dad that I'm going to a university that requires me to dorm there, so I have to move out. I even had my friend from high school come over to meet my dad and act as my college roommate, and I bought her pizza after. But yeah, whole time I went to community college and I moved into my grandparents' place with my boyfriend.
These are things that my strict Hispanic parents did to me that I will not be doing to my kids. The first one is making your kids clean the entire house if they want to go out. Like, bitch, are your kids your maid? Davak. And obviously teaching your kids to clean up after themselves is an important thing, but making them clean the entire house, like if you were paying them, are you okay? The next one is making your kids feel bad for crying, like calling them weak or saying stuff like, oh, shut up before I give you a reason to cry. This literally conditions your kids to not show any emotions. That's actually some serial killer ass shit, okay? Like you're literally making your kids believe that showing emotions is a bad thing. Also dismissing like mental health. The next one is calling the police on your kids if they don't do stuff that you want them to do, like if they don't obey you. No, but this is actually so embarrassing. Like my dad called the police on me and my sister multiple times and it actually just really makes him look bad. Like, bitch, what the fuck? Next one is arguing in front of my kids. Like I will not be arguing with my husband in front of my kids. On top of that, talking shit about my spouse to my kids. Like, that's actually embarrassing. Your kids are not your therapist. Like go seek help. You're honestly putting your kids in a dynamic where they feel like they have to choose whose side they're on. Like, bitch, you're their parents. Okay, like what the fuck is this? The next one is making them feel bad for expressing themselves, like saying that like art and like dance is like not important and that you need to focus on school. Like basically shaming your kids for wanting to like artistically express themselves. Even letting your kids be into anything like without calling everything demonic. Yeah, no. Like, let your kids be themselves. Making the oldest sibling take care of the youngest siblings as if those were her kids. Like, bitch, you're the parent. Be a fucking parent. That honestly just puts a strain in the relationship between those two siblings because, like, the oldest kind of gets irritated that they have to take care of the youngest, when in turn, the parents should just take care of their kids. Like, the next thing is, like, name calling. Like, why would you call your child dumb, stupid, fat, ugly? Gordita, flaca. Bitch, you're making them insecure. You're weird. Saying stuff like, oh, like, how are you not happy right now? Like, I do everything for you. You have a roof over your head. You have food on the table. Yeah, bitch, that's bare minimum. Bare minimum. You want me to be clapping, applauding to you because you did bare minimum? Like, why are you throwing it in my face that you do bare minimum? What do you want me to do with that information? Saying stuff like, act good or you're gonna get the belt. Are you okay? Like, what the fuck? Like, hiding food from your, like, kids or, like, hoarding it and being like, this is my food. You can't eat it. Okay, fatty. This is the finished makeup routine. I did post an in-depth makeup tutorial on YouTube, and I will be posting more on YouTube as well. So please go subscribe. The link's in the bio. As always, I love you guys so much. Bye!
Get ready with me while I talk about rules that my strict parents had. So, my sisters and I weren't allowed to shower every day, My parents said that having 4 girls shower all on the same day was just an inconvenience. So because it was 2 of us to a room, one day 2 girls would shower and then the next day 2 girls would shower. And we couldn't shower past like 7:30 at night. And if we were going to shower, we had to ask for permission and then let everybody in the house know that we were about to go shower. The kitchen closed at 8 o'clock at night, so we really weren't allowed to eat past 7:30. And you guys might be thinking, oh, why didn't you just sneak food? But there were security cameras in the hallway, the living room, and the kitchen, and my parents would watch the footage every morning. So if they saw in the cameras that we went to sneak food, we would get in trouble. And then on top of that, they would buy certain foods that only my brother was allowed to eat, like milk and cheese. I accidentally fucked up and did my concealer instead of my contour. Ignore it. But I wasn't allowed to wear crop tops, tank tops, tube tops, see-through tops, backless tops, low neck tops. I wasn't allowed to wear skirts, dresses, or shorts. I wasn't allowed to leave the house in pajamas. I wasn't allowed to wear jeans that had rips that were too high in them. I wasn't allowed to wear jeans that were too tight. I wasn't allowed to wear leggings, and if I was wearing leggings, then it had to be with a shirt that was long enough to cover my butt. If I was to still try to get away with wearing a crop top, then I would have to have like a tank top under it. And if I was to try to get away with wearing a dress, then it had to be like past the knees. I had to wear a jacket on top of it if it was like off the shoulder or like spaghetti strap tank top. Even if nothing was showing, something had to be on top because apparently shoulders are arousing. So now we can fix this fucked up concealer, and this is like take 3 because I keep messing up, but whatever. I wasn't allowed to have a phone until I was 17, and that's only because I bought it with my own money. But even though I had bought my own phone, I wasn't allowed to have my phone in my room. I wasn't allowed to have phone calls in private, and I had to put my phone on the table at 8 o'clock at night, and my parents would take it into their room. And they didn't change that until like my senior year of high school. That's when I was finally allowed to have my phone in my room. I wasn't allowed to go on a date unless my dad met the guy first. But like when you go on a first date, it's not exactly serious for you guys to be meeting parents. And then it's also something that's really awkward. And then my dad also said that he didn't want to meet any more guys that I had dated after I had broken up with one guy that he really liked. So I was just like shit out of luck. This one isn't really a rule, but more of something that they did. My dad paid this guy a little extra money under the table, an employee at the high school that I went to like follow me around, take pictures of me, tell my dad what I was wearing, whether or not I had changed my outfit. He would take pictures of the friends that I was hanging out with and send them to my dad. He would like send my friends' disciplinary and attendance issues to my dad. And my dad was just like bribing this guy to like call my classrooms, ask my teachers if I was there. Like he was just doing the most. Anyways, guys, I can make videos about rules that my strict parents had and things that they did for hours and hours. So let me know if you guys want a part 2 in the comments. For some context, I know that a lot of you are going to be thinking that those rules are really crazy and even kind of gross. My sisters and I broke every single one of those rules. We would still sneak food in the middle of the night. We would change our outfits at school. We would still try to sneak into our room to take phone calls. We would still try to sneak in shower every day. We never gave a fuck because they were like crazy shit. And I moved out last year, couldn't deal with it no more, and I don't talk to anybody in the house, and it's better that way. So as requested, part 2 of more rules that my strict parents had, and this one is going to be a mix of rules and then things that they just did as well. So to start, my dad got everybody in the house. This includes him, my mom, my siblings, and my cousins the new iPhone 13. And before he left to go get the new phones, I asked him if I sent him the money, could he add a phone for me and I would just pay for everything myself. He didn't need to pay for the phone or the line. He said yes. He gets to Verizon, he comes back home, he's handing everyone their phones. I'm like, hey, where's mine at? He said that he didn't get it for me because I already had a phone. Everybody living in the house already had a phone too. My parents are going to deny this until the day they die, but they're super homophobic. They're like very Christian. They say that they're Christian, but they're the judgmental Christians. And really, you're not supposed to be judgmental in Christianity, but that's a completely different topic. But I had a lot of gay friends, and I wasn't allowed to hang out with my gay friends. I couldn't be on the phone with them in the living room. I couldn't hang out with them one-on-one. We couldn't go places together. And my parents said that it didn't matter that they were gay. They were still men, and they were faking it so that they could do things to me when we were alone together. A boy's not going to kiss a boy in front of me and fake it to do stuff with me. Come on now. When I was in middle school, I was messy as fuck. I'll admit that, but I got social media taken away when I was 14, and I wasn't allowed to have social media again until I was 17. And the only reason I was allowed to have social media again when I was 17 is because I bought my own phone. But if I hadn't bought my own phone, I was just not going to have social media. I wasn't going to have a phone either. My dad had this app on his computer where he could monitor all of our activities on our phones and computers and iPads, and he could just look at our screen at any given moment. It would show him what times we went to what sites, how long we stayed on what sites, how long we spent texting certain people, how long our phone calls were. He could just see all the ins and outs of our phones through that little app. And it wasn't on our phones, it was on his, but it was connected to the Wi-Fi, so he could see everything done on the Wi-Fi. We really weren't allowed to eat chips and candy, like hot Cheetos, gummy worms, stuff like that. And if we were going to buy a bag of candy or a bag of chips, then we had to keep it in our parents' rooms and we had to ask them for permission to go get it for us when we wanted to eat from it. My dad had access to my bank account, so he would look at my transactions, he could freeze my card, see how much I was spending, where, whenever, and he would question me about it. Like, why are you spending this much money here? What were you buying there? What were you even doing over here? And because he would use my transactions to see where I would send money to my Cash App and lie and say that it's for my business because I ran a business. And I would just Cash App my friends' money when we would go out places. It didn't matter who was over, friends, family, therapists. My dad, if he wanted to tell off one of the kids, he would do it in front of the entire group of people. He never cared. On New Year's Eve one year, he was cussing me out at the very top of his lungs, and I really didn't appreciate it. So I asked him why he's yelling at me. He said, "It's my effing house. I'll yell at you if I want to yell at you. If you don't like it, you can get out." Him cussing me out on a holiday wasn't the problem. In school, I had good grades, but even my good grades wasn't good enough for them. A B+ wasn't good enough. They would say I needed to do better, try harder, cool, whatever. Math is a subject I'm really bad at. So one year I had gotten a C+ on math, and my dad had torn me up for it. He's like, "I expect so much better from you. You think you're going to get into a good school when you have grades like this." And the way that he was talking to me was starting to really get to me, so I had started to self-harm because that was the only way I could take out my frustrations. I don't know if I can even say that on TikTok. But when I opened up to him about it, I was like, "Hey, you make me feel like shit." He said, "Really? You're going to blame this on me?" When my sister-in-law or my aunt would come over and they would come in my room to talk to me, my dad would either stand in his room that was right next to mine and put his ear to the wall and listen to the conversations, or he would go have my cousin stand in her room, which was also next door to mine. My room was in the middle of both of theirs, and he would have her go listen in the conversations, or he would just stand in the hallway and listen and have her, my cousin, go report everything back to him. To be honest, guys, I can still go on and on, but let me know if you want a part 3.